Okay, guys, I'm with Siti Halila Rafifa Lubis. This is my friend when I was senior high school. Okay, Lila, please introduce yourself.
Yes, let me introduce myself. My name is Kalila Rafelubis. I am Dina's friend when we was in elementary school and in junior high school, and now I study in Turkey, and I'm preparing my Turkish language now. Yes.
Question is, what kind of news or thing do you think is difficult to convey and why? Why the reason?
I think the most difficult news to convey is political news, because um, we don't know what news about politics that is really real from from the from the news, because so many media that are paid to deliver the other news, the wrong news. So we have to have the observation. We have to do observation to get really the real news about political news. So I think it needs more efforts to to know and to believe.
So how do you handle your problem? You still deliver the news or you keep it, and what is your solution to your problem?
I think that I will still deliver the news because it is important, so they will know the news. My solution is to have the observation, to do the observation, to get the truth, and I will not deliver the wrong news.
Uh, do you think being able to deliver bad news is an important skill?
Um, in general, delivering the news is important thing, because uh, we have to spread the news to the other people, and we can unite it, unite our sounds, our voice, to the central, and and the central will and the government, is, for example, will know that our voice is matter.
Okay. Have you ever broke bad news to someone? And what was the reaction if there is the you broke the bad news?
um Break the news to someone. Yes, I think I never.
Okay. What would you do if you got false news or fake news about yourself? And like what your action to avoid spreading news like that?
Yes, I will not be angry. I will not be angry exactly, but I just have to give the fact and some proof that I am not as the bad news, as the hoax said. So I will deliver the facts and some proof,
Okay.
so that the other people may know that I'm not as the hoax says.
Ever you get the hoax news about yourself?
Mm, Maybe it is a simple simple thing,
Okay.
like we are in the society, among ourselves, among our friends, that say that I was like that, but I'm not, but I was not like that. like that they say. And yes, it is a simple thing actually.
Okay. Um, what are the most important techniques for breaking bad news? I mean like you can give the suggestion to to some to people
Yes.
how what the most important techniques for breaking bad news.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Received. I have received a bad news when I was 13 years old. It is about my father that was passed away in that time, and break. I was broke by someone, by my teacher, because I was in the boarding school. My teacher uh, told me about my father, but what my father condition, but she doesn't exactly say the news. She just make me remember about my family, uh, by asking me about my family. So she asked me about something. How about you? How about your feeling, or how if your father passed away? She delivered me that question, and in that time, so by that question, I realized that that it was happened in that time. So she in conclusion, she doesn't exactly break the broke the bad news, but she just uh leading me to think about that. She just make me realize by myself.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh,
And and the second thing that we have to do is to give our emotion, like sadness, to the people that we will broke the news.
okay. Okay guys, I'm with Riza Beni Sinuhaji as a guest speaker in my speaking assignment in my interview. So please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is beni and I'm studying at Universitas Negeri Medan, majoring in English Literature.
What kind of news or things do you think is difficult to convey and why?
Things or news that are difficult to convey is bad news because we don't want to hurt the feeling of the people we want to convey the bad news to.
What is example of the bad news?
Maybe the accident or a death.
Oh, yeah. So how do you handle that your problem?
I will keep on delivering it because it has to be conveyed and I have to convey it in a good way.
What is your solution?
I will choose the perfect time to convey it and with the good and right way.
Okay. Do you think being able to deliver bad news is an important skill?
Yes, of course, because we have to take care of the feeling of the person we want to convey the bad news to.
And have you ever broke bad news to someone? And what was the reaction the person?
Yes, I have. They feel sad and disappointed.
What kind of bad news?
Just like I said just now, is accident and death.
Oh, what you do if you got hoax or fake news about yourself?
Well, I will feel sad and disappointed, and what I will do, I will prove that the news is not true. I cannot make anyone to trust to me, but I will prove that the news is wrong.
Okay. And What are the most important techniques for breaking bad news?
I think the most important technique is we must choose the perfect time and the right time to convey it. And we have to convey it in a good and right way to make the people keep calm.
Okay, guys, I'm with Siti Humaira as a guest speaker. So we interview her. Please introduce yourself.
Beforehand, my name is Humaira, and yeah, I will help my friend Farahdina to complete her assignment video about delivering bad news.
What kind of news or things do you think is difficult to convey and why the reason?
In my opinion, news that is very difficult to convey is sad news such as someone who has died or an accident. Why do I think so? Because maybe in my opinion, I can't bear to see the reaction of someone who is given bad news because someone's reaction must be different, but the way of conveying bad news also greatly affects the reaction of the person who is told the news. That's all.
So how do you handle that? And you still deliver the news or you keep it? And what is your solution?
But even though it seems difficult, but I still deliver the news even though it's bad news. But I still have to pay attention to how the news is conveyed. I have to convey it casually and not overreact when delivering the bad news because if overreact automatically hears the news, it will also overreact. And also, if someone who is the bad news continue to overreact, we should try to him or her calm down.
And do you think being able to deliver bad news is an important skill?
I think so. From what I'm used to seeing, not everyone can convey bad news very well. Then it may be true that people who are able to convey bad news well have an important skill.
And what ethics should you do when you wish to break news?
Ethics in conveying news is to convey what it is, not to use high tone when delivering news, and not to be long-winded.
And what you do if you get the bad news?
First I have to make sure that the bad news is true, and I have to control how I react when I receive the bad news.
And how can the hoax or fake news be avoided quickly spreading?
The way is by not needing to be in a hurry to spread news that is not necessarily true. We have to find out in advance whether the news is true or not. That's all.
I think the most difficult things or news to convey is the bad news, because delivering a bad news, it is not as simple as we can just straight to the point about what happened. It requires a lot of effort, and we also have to master several things, such as we have to able to use the suitable words, we have to able to control the situation, and also we have to know how to make the recipient of the news staying calm as well. And I think those kind of things is quite difficult and complicated to learn.
News I think is difficult to convey is I think saying a surprising news is kind of difficult for me because to be honest I am not like a people person. It is very hard for me to tell bad news to people. Like for example, when I heard this one guy, my friend in the high school back then, that his father died while in school. While his father is the teacher in there, his father died while we are in the church. It's kind of sad to tell him because imagine if that is my father. I don't want to hear it. That's the last thing I want to hear. So it's really hard for me to tell like bad news to people as well. But I think it's most into surprising.
Well, about how I solve this or my solution, it depends on the situation. if I am in the situation that there is nothing else that I can expect to replace me, or I am the one who should deliver the news, I think I will take a risk on it and still deliver the news. But if there are any person that could replace me, I think I will be ready to left the news to be delivered by them. Because considering that I'm not really good at conveying something, and I don't want to make the situation getting worse.
I think I will deliver the news because no matter how you look at it, if we have a bad news to someone, it is better for us to tell them the truth, because no matter how you look at it, a, a sour or yeah, of course, a sour truth is always better than a sweet lies. That's what I think in my mind.
Yes, it is very important skill, and I think that all of the people should be able to mastery this kind of things, this kind of skill, because it can reduce the sadness, and also it make the other people feel a bit better than before if we can deliver a bad news in the proper way.
No, I think being able to deliver bad news is actually you need a skill to do it, because not everyone can tell a bad news. I mean, deliver a bad news, because saying a bad news and delivering a bad news is different. It's just like speech, you know. Not everyone can do a speech well. You can say, I can give you a script of a speech, and you can just say it whatever you want. But if you want someone to read the script exactly like you want it to, you need someone that has a speech skill to do such thing. That's what I think it is.
When I want to deliver the bad news, I've got some ethics that I always done while delivering the bad news. The first thing that I would do is keep myself calm. So when I calm down, it will help me to reduce the mistake that I would do, that I would make. The second thing is I will guess the worst probability that maybe happen, or what kind of response, what kind of the worst response that the recipient of the news will give to us. And the last thing is to control my emotion. Even though the recipient of the news give us the bad response, but as a deliverer, I will keep my emotion stable and not let into any fight or any anger. About how to avoid the hoax news, I think it's quite complicated because it has a large scale, but I think we can start it by ourselves first. So if I want to overcome or dealing with this hoax, the first thing that I will do is find the truth. So by finding the truth, we can know how the things happen, and then we can spread to the others about the truth. And also we can also give our explanation to our people in environment, so they can get easily to trust to the hoax.
Okay, this is fake news. This is wrong. You
Yeah.
shouldn't believe this. And the thing I noticed is that people that telling this is fake news or hoax, they don't have the proof to support their claim. You need the support to tell that people this is fake. You need the support. You need the proof to say it. Otherwise, people won't believe you. That's the thing.